This is the locking device. We're going to put this on before every ERCP. We want this little horseshoe in the back to clip on the back of the scope, and then we're going to slide the locking device in line with the biopsy channel. So this needs to be flat, and it also needs to be pressed tightly up against the side. Once I've done all my work to get it in position, I'm going to take my strap. Sometimes it's flipped the wrong way. I'm going to flip it up.
Flip it.
Press my thumb against the locking device and the strap. And I'm going to pull out and away from the scope and then wrap it around. That gives me lots of slack to be able to very easily lock it. And then one last check is we'll make sure that it's in line with the biopsy port, and we can just fit just our tip of our index finger between the bottom of this rail and the top of the rubber biopsy cap.
Can you turn it a little bit? The other way. Keep going. Keep going.
So it should be
right there. Right there. Okay, got it.
Inside the tome.
Okay, come with it. Right.
If you grab a jagtome, it has a jag wire in it, and so on. The other things I always look at on the packaging is RX stands for rapid exchange, but what it means is short wire.
Short wire.
So anytime you see RX written on one of our devices, it means it's a short wire device.
Short wire, okay.
RX. The next one is 44. This number can say 39, 44, or 49. Almost all of your tomes are going to be dreamtome or jagtome RX 39. For his cases with a .025 guide wire.
025.
025s come preloaded in 39 tomes. 39 means 3.9 French. To get French to millimeters, you divide by 3. So 39 is a 1.3 millimeter tipped tome. Really, really tiny. And then up here in this corner, you'll see on this package it says .035 by 450.
That's how they look. 0. One time they asked me, can you grab the 0.025?
Yeah.
So that's 39.
So what they would say in Dr. Coley's case, if he just wanted a guide wire not in a tome, is can I have an 025 by 260? So 025 would be smaller diameter.
Smaller.
450 to 260, 450 is a long wire.
Oh,
260 is a short wire. So he'd be asking for an 025 short wire, which would be 025 by 260.
I see.
Does that make sense? Then we'll always see delineated on the package, is it a 20 millimeter cut wire or a 30 millimeter cut wire? The cut wire is the area of the tome where the physician performs sphincterotomy. But I just always like to go through the options that you could see on the packaging. So in this case, we're using a dreamtome RX 44 20 millimeter cut wire, and it's an 035 preloaded wire. And I changed the wire out, so the wire in the package is actually a 260, not 450. Okay?
Okay.
So check the package, check the date, all that stuff, and what comes out is something really similar to this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do this once since you guys are recording. I'll do it as fast as I can, and then we can go over it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we open that. There's a bread twist tie. You do one little twist to undo it and push it off the back.
So remove that thing.
After that, because this is a short wire device, you can grab the hula hoop and you can just pull the hula hoop off the back of the wire. It's very short, it's not gonna hit the floor.
So just throw that. This.
From the hula hoop, we always save the funnel.
Oh, save that.
And I'll show why later, but always save the funnel. I don't care what you do with the hula hoop.
Save that.
After that, we need to pop open this plastic lid. We're gonna open that, and sometimes the wire jumps out. That's okay. The handle is also in the plastic, so what I do is I put my thumb in the plastic and pry the handle out.
Okay.
Once all this is out, this is all trash. We can get rid of that.
So that's all you need.
This is it. Now, all that packaging has been making sure that the tip of this tome is at this angle. The way we would ruin this tome is there's a little metal stylit that's sitting inside the tip. Please don't pull the stylit straight out. Please pull it out with the curvature of the metal stylit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're kind of grabbing, twisting, and rotating it out of the tome. and then that protects the angle it's been keeping since it was made.
I see.
One more step is, here's the cut wire we talked about earlier. You can see that little metal wire that's exposed. I want to help it along to make sure that it can bow the most that it can. So I'm going to grab here in the handle, and just like opening or closing a snare, I'm going to squeeze close and make sure that my tome makes that nice V shape. Sometimes you have to help it along a little. Just give it a little squeeze until it makes a V shape. Now I'm going to unbow my hands, and then the guide wire is all the way up here right now because that metal piece was inside it. I want the physician to have control of the guide wire immediately when they want it. So what I'm going to do is feed the wire down.
Oh, you feed the wire.
You see that? I'm just pushing the wire until it comes out the tip.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pull it back just till it's right inside the tip.
Oh, so you put it back?
I just pulled it back a little bit so that now the wire goes all the way down right to the tip.
Okay.
And then we're going to take our contrast. We have a syringe of contrast. All of our devices in ERCP should be primed with contrast. We're going to attach that right here, twist it on, and inject our syringe until we see contrast come out the tip.
Okay.
The last step of preparing the tome is when you hand it to the physician, you grab the back and you grab the front neck of the tome, and you should see an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face.
Got it.
Just like Sir Mix-a-Lot's song. If the tome is in this shape and you hand it to the physician, it will come out of the scope in the appropriate angle that they're looking for. If you're talking to a friend and not paying attention and you're twisting it or playing with it, this is not going to come out at the same angle as it would have if we had an itty bitty waist and a round thing in our face.
Okay.
Okay? We could probably take a break from recording now.
Okay.
And then they lock that. So this is,
So they lock it in that position.
yes, the whole ERCP is performed with the scope in that position.
Okay.
So we'll do that to make sure it mimics. So this is great. So my device is ready, and then you hand this in to me. So I'm gonna take this, and then what they're gonna do is they're gonna put this into the biopsy port like a snake head, like it's in line with the biopsy port. So I'm gonna push that in.
This is why we puncture it first. So it
Correct.
hadn't been there.
So that this part isn't terrible.
That's why you use that thing to puncture, to help.
I closed the elevator on the scope. You see the elevator moving?
I see it.
When my elevator is closed, no device can come out. So it's easy for me to tell I pushed in, I hit the elevator. Now I'm going to open the elevator, and as
Now
soon as
I
I
see your
push again, my
device.
device comes right out.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so at this point in time, most of the time the physician is going to say either give me the wire, strip me the wire, can I have the wire, whatever it is. So I'm going to show you the safest way to strip the guide wire to the physician. So I'm gonna put the scope down. What I like to do is with my left hand, because I'm right-handed, I do 3 fingers. So I do 1 finger under, 1 finger over, and 1 finger squeezing the top of the wire. Does that make sense?
1 finger under.
You have to control the guide wire by pinching it right here when you're gonna strip the wire.
You have to
Because if
pinch.
you're not pinching it here, the wire can move forwards and backwards, which
I
is not
see.
what we want. We just want to get the wire out of the tome.
Hmm.
So what I do is pinch here, put my finger under the wire, lift it up through the channel in the ramp, and
Oh,
then
you
what I'm going
lift
to
it.
do while I'm pinching here is I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to slide it all the way down the wire until I touch the biopsy cap.
Okay.
Until
And
I
you
touch
stop
the rubber
there.
biopsy cap, and then I stop. Okay? So I'm going to back this wire
But
up.
we don't lock it in there or anything until,
The physician will be doing all the locking and unlocking.
okay.
Oh, he's doing
So now I'm going to pull this back out. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
After we've gotten in, so we're going to pretend I got in the common bile duct and I'm really good at ERCP. Okay?
The green area, huh?
So we got it in. Everybody celebrates. And then what's going to happen is the physician up here, they are going to lock the wire. And they're going to lock the wire because of all your hard work at the beginning of the procedure, putting on the locking device correctly. They just worked really hard to get the wire in place. So making sure they maintain control of the wire for the rest of the procedure is very important to them.
Oh, okay.
So we're locking our wire here. Now what I can do is I can push my tome, I can push it out, and I can pull it back, and the distance the wire is out of my scope never changes. It stays the
Ah,
same. Does that
I
make
see.
sense?
It does.
I see.
So now I can move devices over the wire like it's train tracks for all my other stuff I'm going to be doing. So what they'll probably do at this point is they'll put the wire up into the duct, and then what they might say to you is go ahead and inject some contrast. So you'll inject contrast because you'll still have your contrast hanging off of this port from when
Yeah.
you primed it.
Right.
You'll inject some contrast. Sometimes they'll go way up high in the duct, say inject contrast, and then they'll pull the tome all the way down, and it's like painting the duct.
Oh,
You
I
go
see.
up here, you start shooting contrast,
Yep.
you keep shooting contrast, and they drag it all the way back down, and now we know exactly what the whole duct looks like.
Oh, okay. That helps them to see.
Then what they're gonna do is push the tome into a position. We need to do a sphincterotomy. Sphincterotomy is gonna happen right here. You're inside the duodenum. You're looking at that papilla, that circle donut opening. We've got to make a cut to make sure we have easier access in and out of the common bile duct. So what they're going to do is they're going to push their tome in a little bit. So we're up inside. Then they're going to say, okay, go ahead and bow. Alicia, if you would.
To cut.
Okay, you bowed super a lot. So let's
Super a
go a
lot.
little less. A little less. Good. Okay, now a little more. Love the control. That's good.
Yeah.
So that's about how much cut wire they're going to have exposed. Do you see how the cut wire pulls away from the tome?
Yeah.
You see that? That cut wire is going to be doing
okay.
all the work to make the sphincterotomy. So at this point, if they're happy with their position, we would attach our cautery cable to our handle
to
of
the
our
handle,
sphincter tome.
To cut.
The physician's going to have their pedal. They're going to tap, tap, tap on the pedal until they make their cut. Once the cut has been made, then they'll probably say, okay, go ahead and relax the tome or unbow.
Yeah.
We're going to stay locked. And then our tome has done its job. So the wire's going to stay,
Oh, the wire stay.
but the tome's going to come back. So what I'm going to do is lock my wire down there. My wire's locked up here. And then they're going to drag this out until they see color.
Oh, color.
You see that
green.
color? Then blue, then brown. Now here's what Dr. Coley does. He unlocks his wire.
Unlock.
The elevator of the scope. You see that? If I go all the way up with the elevator, it pins the guide wire. I locked my wire here.
So,
Oh,
I
okay.
unlocked here. Now what he's going to do is he's going to grab the tome and he's just going to give it little tugs. I never lost my wire,
I see.
but I got my device out and he's going to relock. And then your job,
Let's get the device.
this is the varsity move, okay? You ready? With your left hand,
Okay.
you grab the wire.
Okay.
You never want to pull anything off a wire unless you have control of it. So you grab the wire.
Grab the wire.
With your right hand, you grab wet gauze. You take the wet gauze and put it on the wire in front of the device. With that wet gauze, you push the device off the back, and what you're doing is cleaning the wire
Oh,
and removing the device in one movement.
really?
And that's
Cleaning.
what we're going to start with the next time we meet.
Ah,
Okay?
I see.
Just
Wow.
curious, is the wet just for cleaning purposes?
Just for
It
cleaning.
is, and here's the reason. Contrast is sticky as hell.
Yes, it is.
Okay.